Most of us have this basic instinct. If something hurts, we try to numb it. If we're stressed, we just push harder.
Right.
It's like we treat our bodies like a slightly unhelpful employee that just keeps complaining while we're trying to get things done.
Yeah, and this text we're digging into today argues that's not just an unhealthy way to live. It's actually um, unintelligent.
That's a strong word for it.
It is. The author frames it as this constant battle between endurance and intelligence.
Mm.
And most of us just pick endurance because we think that's what strength looks like.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Sometimes you do have to power through. The world doesn't just stop because you feel overwhelmed.
No, of course not.
So is this text just philosophical, or does it give us a real alternative to just, gritting your teeth?
Okay, it's surprisingly practical. It starts by uh, getting us to separate the signal from the illusion.
Okay.
The signal is the biological fact, right?
Right.
Pressure in your shoulders, heat, and actual misalignment. That's real data. The illusion is the meaning we slap on top of it.
So the identity trap.
It's exactly. That's the mechanism. Your body sends this totally neutral data point. Hey, capacity is being exceeded here,
And our minds immediately translate that into I'm weak or I'm broken.
or I'm failing. And that's when the suffering really starts. It's not from the ache in your back.
It's from the story that the back pain is some kind of personal betrayal.
Precisely. And that story is what makes us ignore this signal in the first place. Because if pain means failure, well, you're going to suppress it. You're going to hide it.
And that leads to what the text calls an incoherent system.
Yes.
That was the part that really jumped out at me. Coherent versus incoherent. It sounds a bit like, I don't know, an engineering term.
It kind of is. An incoherent system is one where, and this is a direct quote, control replaces care.
Control replaces care. Wow.
So a signal comes in, say, high stress, chronic fatigue,
Yeah.
and the system's only response is to just tighten its grip, to try and maintain the status quo, no matter the cost.
Which is where that line, endurance replaces intelligence, fits in.
It creates this really dangerous loop. Look, imagine you're driving a car and it starts pulling to the left.
You're okay?
The incoherent driver just grips the wheel harder and yells at the car. A coherent driver, well, they just gently steer to the right.
So coherence is just being responsive.
It's a functional feedback loop.
Yeah.
In a coherent system, stress isn't a threat. It's just data that's asking for an adjustment.
What kind of adjustment?
It could be anything.
Mhm.
Rest, a boundary, a change of pace, maybe even a total change in direction.
See, that sounds simple, but in the real world, adjustment feels a lot like giving up. If I'm on a huge deadline at work and my body is screaming, stop!
Listening to that feels like you're dropping the ball.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's just the fear talking. The text argues that ignoring the signal is the real risk. When you ignore the whisper, the body eventually has to scream.
And that's how acute stress becomes something chronic.
Exactly. The body doesn't want to suffer, it just wants to communicate. So the goal isn't really relief in the way we think of it, like just numbing the sensation. The goal is integration.
Integration is just receiving the message. Think of it like a ringing phone.
Yeah.
You don't just put it on silent to stop the noise. You answer the call.
And once the message is heard, like slow down, get more sleep, actually take a lunch break, the signal can quiet down.
It doesn't need to be loud anymore. The message has been delivered.
That totally reframes the idea of rest. It stops being this reward you get after you burn out.
And it becomes a necessary technical adjustment to maintain the integrity of the system. It shifts you from fighting an enemy to just consulting your dashboard.
It's a heavy shift to make, though, from I have to endure this to prove I'm tough to I need to adjust this to stay intelligent.
It is, but what's the alternative? Running the machine until the wheels come off.
Well, for anyone listening who is, white-knuckling their way through this week, that's a pretty clear call to maybe glance at that dashboard.
And it leaves us with a really difficult question to chew on. If we accept that all this stress is really just a request for a change in pace or direction, what specific adjustment are you avoiding right now by choosing to endure instead?